Alright. Hey guys, I'm here with the judge, and I'm going to be going over all the questions that everyone has asked me, along with all of the questions that were on my posts, and we'll go from here. So enjoy. Oh, make sure it's still on. Okay, still on. We're good. Alright. Now, okay, actually, I need to take a look at that in a minute. Now, some of the questions we have. Okay, on David's website, they ask, why is the website in all caps? And my explanation was, they're in all caps, however, the caps aren't important, it's the spacing, is that correct? Or what is that?
When you write in lowercase, it's called a whisper.
Okay.
When you write in uppercase, it is a shout, someone shouting at you.
Okay.
Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, a shout must be answered.
Okay.
Therefore, we write all our documents in uppercase.
Okay. Okay, so it's a expression.
It's a shout claim.
Okay. Now, this is a very vague question, but what is America?
A means no, Mary means mercy, and CA means sheep. So America means no mercy for the sheep.
No mercy for the sheep.
Welcome to fiction.
That's beautiful. Okay, so how did I'm gonna get off the topic. How did quantum language come to become fact? How did that happen?
David was the one who discovered. Well, what happened was David had child custody issues.
Right.
And he went to court multiple times, and he kept losing. Every time he said yes, the judge said no. Every time he said no, the judge said yes. He didn't know what it was. Then David started looking at language and discovered. I mean, we know that when we go to school, we use adverbs, verbs, adjective, pronouns, prepositions, articles, nouns, future time, past time, and conjunctions.
Right.
What was on the table is when you see somebody's name like Fred John, or do you have a driver license?
Yes.
It'd be easier to. Okay. Joseph Leon Nicholas.
Right.
Okay. So when you write it on a piece of paper, it's typically all across, right?
Right.
When we're looking at the language, we romanticize what we're looking at. What I mean by that is we think that the word has meaning. You can't establish meaning or value of a word until you've determined the structure.
Okay.
It's like anything else. When you build a house, you have to
Lay the
mathematically, lay the foundation, do everything procedurally to get to your structured house.
Okay.
Same thing happens in language. So if I say hot tin roof,
Right.
hot is an adjective describing tin is an adjective describing roof.
Right.
However, nobody bothered to ask what the word describe means. DE means no, scribe means write. So the purpose of the adjective is to know write the next noun, to destroy the words on the page by virtue of it being an adjective. Adjective is a vowel and two consonants, A-D-J-E-C-T-I-V-E. Any vowel and two consonants to the right means no. When I say no, it means negative performance. All contracts are positive performance. You cannot perform a negative.
Right.
You cannot no-hit a car.
Okay.
Hit a car, can't no-hit the car.
Right.
If you look at the laws are written as no person shall. They're all written that way. That's to immediately dump everybody into the negatives for a negative contract performance, which can't be performed.
Okay.
It's an illusion. So, next.
Wow, man. So to follow that, how did this perverted system come to be so popular when it's very apparent that people don't like it? People don't like this Obama-type system. You know, I mean, maybe it's just because they don't know, and that's why we've all been indoctrinated.
No, Obama's a president.
Yeah.
PRE means no, SI means simulation, and DNT means denture. No simulation denture, which means he's an illusion to begin with.
Yep.
What do presidents do that nobody else in our government can do? They can treaty with other nations.
Okay.
So what he's doing is he's acting as a no treaty person for the no nations of the planet. All of our countries are called republics, right? RE means no. Comes from the word again.
Okay.
A is a vowel being used as a single syllable. Anytime you have a vowel A, E, I, O, or U used as a single syllable at the beginning of the word, it means no, back into negative performance.
Okay. Can you go over the rules real quick on how that works? So we have like jury or justice. You know, JU means no.
JU means no because it's a negative. It is a negative syllable, for lack of a better way of saying it, in a multi-syllable word.
Okay.
Judge is a single-syllable word, hence it's not a negative. But jury is, jurisprudence is, justice is.
Okay.
We use the syllabic language and codified within the syllables of our languages in our entire world's history.
What kind of language? Syllabic?
Syllabic, syllables.
Oh, okay. Person with a birth certificate. There's a lot of people in that the whole common law Freeman argument that say, oh, birth certificate, death certificate. Is that still the same?
Birth certificates are written in adverb verb as well. You're using a nom de guerre to create you a dead person on paper. A nom de guerre is a capitalization of your name. Name is capitalized to create you a dead person 45 days after you're born, from cradle to grave, because dead people can't operate treaties, contracts, and trusts.
Wow. So we're all dead walking the earth.
Remember, the only thing that counts is what's written on the paper. Oral argument means nothing. Therefore, if you walk into a courtroom with a nom de guerre, you're telling the judge that you're dead. If you tell him that your name is Monty Edwin Mueller,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not used to fiction. Monty Edwin Mueller,
Yeah.
You're telling him he's testing you.
Yeah.
You're telling him that you're an adjective pronoun. That
Okay.
means you're not a noun, and a noun is a fact. Therefore, you don't know who you are, where you are, and when you are. Now we get to harvest you.
Yep. And that's the problem people are coming to with this whole Freeman thing, is they're going, and I'm Jake Nicholas of the blah 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 family, and they're not pronouncing their name right. They're saying, when the judge calls their name, they're saying, I'm here, or yes, or
They're
standing
saying
up.
this language that you like, notes for a judge. To you, that conjures a condition of state of notes for a judge, which is a noun. But you romanticized the language and didn't look at the structure. That's a pronoun, adverb, verb. Show me the verb judge in the English language.
Roger that.
So that's what's happened.
Okay, so I'm just lying to you while we're here.
No, that's fine. No, I mean, ask as many questions as you can, and I'll answer as many as I know.
Okay, so a driver's license. Now we talked about this on my last conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Driver's license and registration is needed because it's a public safety issue.
Public safety issue, it shifts papers, it is adverb verb. However, to articulate your position as a person with knowledge under Title 42, 1986, knowledge of the law, stopping correcting wrongs, correct parse, syntax, grammar, you and don't photo my ID, please.
I won't.
Here's my business card.
Okay.
This is a piece of plastic. This is all pronoun. This is pronoun, adjective, pronoun, nom de guerre, adjective, pronoun, pronoun. There's no words on the page. Words are facts, nouns.
Okay.
So you put the flag. This is flag, the correct sentence structure, communication
Okay,
part.
can I video that? That part?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how we're structuring our own driver's license.
You see something?
Yeah, you just put a piece of paper. So hold on a second, guys. We're going to show you how to do this correctly.
I'm going to cover the barcode.
Okay. So here, you see the stamp with the stamp. It's a $1. You cannot have any decimal points.
Correct.
You have the flag without a border. What else is very significant about this? Your signature.
That dollar stamp, the autograph across it, and that dollar sign is a double hash sign.
Okay.
Do you have a blank piece of paper I can write on?
Right here.
What you've been taught and what you get paid with is that. What really is there is that.
Okay.
Point being is, this means treasury debt note.
Okay.
And your money even says it, right?
Right.
Anything that's note is debt, period. So it's not money. Double hash, which is what this is
Okay.
you've heard of the term bar gold and bar silver.
Right.
There's your bar gold, there's your bar silver. Came from Unity States.
Oh. Okay.
That's where it came from.
Unity States.
Unity States. It's no longer Unity States, U-N-I-T-Y. If you pronounce it, U as a vowel, as a single syllable, correct?
Yeah.
So it means no, or sorry. Say means no.
Right.
I-T-Y means citizen.
Okay.
So it's a no citizen. Do you feel like being a no citizen today?
Right. Well, apparently they get better health coverage. So let me see this real quick. So here is the notes he wrote down. And then gold, silver, okay, so on. Okay.
Now, the thing is, while these Freemen and all these guys are trying to do the right thing, the problem is they're still stuck in the one absolute, and that's the absolute that they're using fraudulent modified language.
Okay.
So you guys can scream all up and down that you're right about this, you're right about that, you're not. And that's not to put you down, it's because it is a scenario of lack of education perpetuated by the very system that you're trying to navigate and negotiate.
Okay. Let me make sure this is still on. Okay. All right, just checking. Okay, so that covers the driver's license, the birth certificate, the country that we live in, or the
Well, okay, let me back up
place.
on that. There is a document out there you can create. It's called the claim of the live life.
Right, that's on his website.
That's on his website. You can do that, and that gives you claim. You can't go forward with correct sentence structure until you've created that claim, because up to this point in your life, you've always been a dead person, and dead people can make no claims. Therefore, it is a necessary document.
How do I make that claim?
You copy it off the website. You have two witnesses that also autograph under the document, autograph across the stamps, autograph across the back as an endorsement. You notice when you get a check, you sign the check, you write out the check, sign the check, they flip it over, you have to endorse it. That's when you endorse the back of a document like that, what you're doing is you've offered your contract and now you're accepting it. Because someone has to accept your offer, and it has to be you because it's your contract.
Right, so basically I can print that out, fill my information in there, have you and her sign it.
Yes. Well, I don't
And
sign,
now,
but yes.
But autograph, and now I'm a living being?
You have a claim of the live life, which gives you the now time position to go forward in your life and make claims.
Okay, who holds that honorable, I guess I should say? If I were to have this, and I go to a normal court, we know there's a system of fiction. There's a system of deceit and dishonor, in my opinion. Why would they honor this?
They won't.
They won't.
They won't. They won't recognize it. They can't recognize facts.
Right. Okay. No law or fact can be tried in court. So.
Don't
so
go
how
to
do
their
I
court. Stay out of their court. It's a vessel in dry dock, a foreign vessel in dry dock. Don't go.
What happens if I get summoned, so to speak? If I get, say, something like this, right here, I'm being summoned to appear in court on charges that I did not accord. So you see what I'm saying? Ford believes that I owe them money, and I never signed any piece of paper stating that I would pay them money.
Who's asking you?
Palm Springs Ford.
Ford. Did you buy a car from them?
No, I had my work done on my truck. I went in for an oil change. $3,000 later, I walk out of there, and they're sending me a bill that I've never autographed or signed for. And
did they do work?
They did.
You have to pay them for it.
Okay.
If you think that they erroneously did something to you that they're taking money from you for.
Well, the condition, and she heard the phone conversation, the condition was this. You were going to give you a credit card. The credit card, you could put all the work on our credit card. I said, wow, that's great. Yes, I can do that because I don't have the money. So, time comes to pay the bill. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not approved for the credit card. But you did all the work already. How does that? You know, I was very confused on why would you do the work if you knew I wasn't approved? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I didn't authorize on a signature. If we go through, I have the contract at the house of all my work that was done on the truck. I have one signature for the oil change. Every other, you know how they document every piece of work they do? Well, on the bottom, my signature does not exist on any other piece of paper. So now it's, you know.
The thing is that I don't know how that would play out, but I would say for the fact if they did anything to the vehicle or not. If they did anything to the vehicle, you got to pay for it. If they didn't do anything and they're billing you for it, that's different.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's a very sound answer for you, but
right. Well, if I didn't see, that's the thing is I didn't approve the work. I didn't contract for them to do $3,000 worth of work. I wanted an oil change and maybe.
But you surrendered the vehicle.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how that would play out. That'd probably be a better question for David.
Okay.
But honestly, it seems to me it would be if your name's not on any paperwork, you didn't approve it, but you did some type of credit application. Read that and see if that has any fine print in it that says that that's authorization to complete work on the car.
Okay.
It may not be the case, and sounds like it's not the case, that it was a necessity that you got the credit card to them or not. The document served more as an authorization to work on the car.
Right.
Nobody guarantees that you're going to get the credit card.
Right.
But there may be something stipulated in there saying, well, since you're signing this, that gives us authorization to work on the car. I don't know. Read it.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to important stuff.
Oh, birth certificates. Birth is an important thing to understand. When a mother is pregnant, she has a baby in her womb. She's the mothership, for lack of a better way of saying it. It sounds strange, but she's the vessel, mother vessel. It's not until the mother gives birth that when the baby comes out, the baby's leaving the vessel. So what a birth certificate is it's birthing a vessel into maritime law.
Right.
That's the maritime global jurisdiction. So that is important to understand.
Okay. So. Okay. Public safety. It says who authorizes the rules of public safety, but I'm not sure that's thought out very correctly.
It's awkwardly put.
Yeah. Forget that. Innocent until proven guilty. That's not a true statement, because we're guilty just by showing up. We're guilty by contract.
You're guilty because you think it says anything at all.
Okay.
But see, that reminds me of a trick. There's multiple tricks that the courts play on you.
Okay.
One of the things is they'll say, are you going to enter a plea of innocent? Listen to my words very carefully. And you will say, yes, I am innocent. Then the judge will say, I'm entering a plea of innocence for you. There's no T at the end of that, is there?
Right.
So what she's doing, what was I writing on?
Right.
She says, I'm entering a plea for you in no sense. So they're calling you crazy, which makes you award the court, you lose.
Sweet.
Fact.
Beautiful. I love this system.
You have to pay attention. Guilty means knowledge.
Yeah.
Remember that. The reason we feel guilt for spanking our kid too hard is because we had knowledge of the fact of the difference between the right and the wrong, to which the degree that we hit the child. Therefore, guilty means knowledge.
Okay. So is it better that somebody always gives a guilty plea?
Don't know, because you're still getting stuck in the scenario that something's being said at all while you're there.
You're right. So now we're gonna we have to go deeper. So instead of talking about what's inside the court, what's being talked about inside the court, we've revealed that nothing can be revealed in the court because we're all talking fiction and babble. So.
And you're dead.
Right, and we're dead. So it's all just an illusion. So now we have to keep ourselves out of the court system.
Out of the fiction, yes.
We have to keep ourselves out of the fiction. Keeping ourselves out of the fiction requires claim of life, 2 witnesses. Now, again, when I have a speeding ticket and I don't show up for court, I get a warrant.
Oh, yeah.
So how do I take care of that?
You cannot outrun public safety.
Okay.
You can have music going on in this one.
Yeah, I hope the video.
It's momentary. It's a birthday thing.
Oh, okay. So we'll pause for a brief recession. Okay, so you can't outrun public safety.
Can't. You may be able to use correct sentence structure maybe once, maybe twice. You establish a pattern of public safety violation, they don't care what you're using. I've beat a ticket way back for driving in your area of town about 108 miles an hour on the freeway.
Okay. And you beat it just by using proper...
Correct sentence structure, knew what I was doing. But that was also when fiction didn't know a lot either. As we educated ourselves, we educated fiction.
Oh. See, and that's what they're doing. Right now, this is what they're doing. Because of the Dean Clifford movement, because the Freeman, sovereign, all this stuff, they're goading everybody into this. Oh, you're common law. You're a constitutionalist.
Or Freeman, or sovereign. Yeah. People that argue the issue of sovereign don't know what's happening.
Okay.
Only countries can be sovereign, not people.
Okay, only countries can be sovereign, not people. Okay, now, what does proof mean?
Proof. Evidence.
Evidence, okay. Alright, and this is, I asked this one to you before, but why do I have to prove I can do something when I've never proved I cannot?
Because it is a contract world, and to operate in this contract world so that the governing body knows that safety is being performed among the population, people have to have documentation showing that they have the capacity to do what they're doing.
Okay, so we got that. How do I become a judge?
A lot of work. Study.
Okay.
Study.
Okay. What is the Constitution?
It doesn't exist.
Okay, so the Constitution is a false document. It just is.
It's written in adverb verb. On top of that, you're dealing with a scenario of bankruptcy. Domestic bankruptcy 7 years. International bankruptcy 70 years. 10 times that, make it 70 years. In 1998, probably around there, 98, 99, they came out with a wag the dog story of the Y2K bug.
Right.
Y2K bug never occurred. It was a story to keep people out of the fact that we were coming out of the bankruptcy. Came out of bankruptcy September 17th, 1999. There's another birthday.
Recess.
That was a bankruptcy celebration.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to say, you're the first person I've ever had come up with a list of questions. It's brilliant. That's great. Because people don't always know what they want to ask.
Dude, this thing, it works. It's just people just don't know how to use it.
I'm with you.
And I want to learn how to use this to the full capacity. I have it. I don't want it just to go to waste.
No, that's great.
Okay, so since the Constitution is is invalid, I don't have rights. I don't have rights in the system. I have rights, natural
That's
rights.
That's a trick question. No.
Okay.
You only have what you contract for.
I only have what I contract for. So, I only have what I contract for. How do I contract to have rights?
Correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, through a quote or into a complaint, which is a constitution. Constitution means contract. They're synonymous.
Okay. Constitution means contract. So I have to file claim of life in order to be correct.
Begin your journey for the creation of your own contracts.
Okay. All right.
But the bankruptcy is important here because these constitutionalists that they're calling them need to understand this very important part. Prior to 1999, the Constitution that you were operating under was the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta was a adverb, verb, fiction document. Remember, it's the bankruptcy issue.
Right.
If you go back 70 years, you will land on Black Monday, the fall of the stock market, 1929.
Okay.
That was a world bankruptcy to which Rothschilds bought up the world debt. When he bought up the world debt, they created everybody on the planet debtors. Then they created a corporation called the IRS to collect money. That collection of money, people think it's just for taxes, whatever. What it was its collection from the people, because the people borrowed the money to pay back the money to Rothschilds.
Okay.
That bankruptcy ended September 17th, 1999. That bankrupt corporation, which was Magna Carta America, Magna Carta Constitution, would then have satisfied its debt. It has paid off its debt. Once a corporation is out of debt, it has to recharter as a non-debt corporation. So they rechartered the United States, whatever you want to call it, into an American corporation. Now, the question on the table that these people that want to rely upon Constitution must ask themselves is they sign the birth certificate, driver's license, and social security card. That's all fiction, blah, blah, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, did they ever sign a Constitution?
No.
Never had one.
Right.
Never had one before, never had one after.
So if you don't contract for things that are in your life,
Can't have them.
you can't have a contract.
Contract
so
rule.
the Constitution is completely invalid to every person here in America or Canada or anywhere.
Any Constitution anywhere written in an adverb verb, one, it's adverb verb, two, did they sign it?
Right.
You have to be a party to the contract to exercise or perform the contract duties.
Okay, I'm starting to churn here. I'm starting to get it. Okay. So that answers that question. How do you enforce your rights? You enforce your rights by becoming living.
Claim your rights.
Claim your rights. Now, where did quantum syntax grammar come from, and who stumbled upon this?
David Wynn Miller.
Really?
Said it was, yes. David Wynn Miller. Well, yes. There's an article. I would say that he's the only one on planet Earth in 8,500 years that ever stumbled across it and lived.
Wow.
That would be probably the most honest answer I could give him.
Okay. What does this mean for the Bible then?
Well, the Bible is
Definitely an imperfect document. Written
it's
in
the copywritten
thousands.
opinion of another man.
It's a copywritten opinion of another man.
I would arguably say, though, in its spirit of the way people want to think about things, I think the Bible, the Quran, and all these other texts that we have are books on codes of conduct on how we treat each other to prevent us from going to war.
That's the best answer of those things I've ever heard. That's beautiful.
The word Bible, spell it.
Right.
B-I-B-L-E. It's two syllables. B-I means two. B-L-E means story. It's the book of two stories. The New Testament and the Old Testament.
That's awesome. Okay, so...
Bibles talk about, if you look at the underlying things in Bibles, they talk about stay the hell out of debt.
Yeah.
And use gold and silver.
Yeah.
That's what they're telling you.
Right. That's why Jesus turned over the money lenders and all this stories.
I don't know. I mean, because I wasn't there and because it's an opinion to begin with, I don't know.
Right.
I can't confirm or deny any of that.
Okay, what is your role here on the planet? David's in charge of grammar. What do you do?
I do the same thing David does. I correct language, do the contracts, and the federal postal judge for the courts. I don't know if you know that when we do our lawsuits, I go on the lawsuit as a federal judge. Another thing that people need to understand is if you need to ask your people that you know, where is the court? So if I ask you, where is the court? You know it's a trick question.
I know. I'd be wrong if I said it's in a city. So if I say where's the court is in a vessel in dry dock.
Very close. The courtroom is just a bunch of bricks. The federal building is just a bunch of bricks.
Right. Anything in a closed
The
off.
paper's the court.
Okay.
That's where the court is. So if you're in a district court, that's an adjective pronoun. It's a negative adjective. The district for demon god of the underworld for the trickery in the court. Do you really want to be there?
No, not at all.
So the paper is the court, and all courts have a judge on them, don't they?
Yep.
Which is why I go on the documents, because the document is the court. It's the Constitution.
Okay. So if I were to file Title 42, I would have you on my documents.
Yes, because
Okay.
I'm the federal judge for the parsing syntax grammar and the one that syntaxed the document for the fraud.
Okay. So with this being a very rare knowledge for people, if they have family law or traffic or all this other stuff, and they are seeking refuge, how can they have you on their documents, or David, or how can they have
David
syntax
deals
on their documents?
If there's any family law scenarios, David does that. We do not touch immigration.
Okay.
Pretty much everything else we can do. We do criminal, but to clarify, we don't protect criminals.
Right.
And if somebody's knifed their neighbor and they come to us wanting to do corrections, it's not going to happen.
Right.
But there are scenarios where I know, and you know as well, that people have been railroaded into charges that they've never committed.
Right. That's
and those we do.
Okay, so that's kind of what I want to get at is, like, for example, that's $3,000 I did not approve. In my knowledge of my dumb mind, I didn't approve.
There's a gray area in that you surrendered the vehicle. Nobody walked up to you and had a gun on you, said get out, fixed it, and billed you for it.
Right.
So it's a gray area. If you really want to pursue it, I would talk to David, because I'm not entirely sure on how that would work.
Okay.
That's my honest answer.
Okay, no worries. Title 42. So what is Title 42?
Title 42, 1986, knowledge of the law, stopping and correcting wrongs with correct sentence, structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar.
Okay. Can an Iraq vet sue the government for falsifying the contract and the war?
You can stop and correct any contract, yes.
Yeah, okay. I like that answer. That's a very political answer. Okay. The
thing, I don't know if it's been done, but yes, you could. Yes, they gave you a contract. Who else signed it?
Right.
Can they be held accountable? Yes. Who controls the military?
President.
Post office. Everything's postal.
Okay.
The port authorities. See, wars between nations isn't wars between nations.
Right.
Wars between nations are wars between postmasters.
Right.
That's what they are.
Wow.
When they dropped the bomb on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, you might still be able to get on the web. They might have pulled it off. You could look it up, and there's a video of the postmaster. And what the postmaster does is, to make this official, pulls out of his pocket a stamp, puts a stamp on it, ground dates it, and autographs it.
Yeah.
Dropping a bomb is sending a message, and all messages must have the vessel fee paid for the travel of the vessel through the postage stamp. And the message when you drop a bomb is die.
Okay. Wow, I don't know how people are going to take this, because
you have to stick to the fundamentals. Paper, this is what everybody needs to remember. Paper controls all things. The only reason you can buy that shirt and walk out of the store is because you have a receipt, otherwise known as a bill of the lading, that says you can take it. If you do not have that receipt with the bill of the lading saying that you can take it, you will be arrested for theft because you have no evidence that you can.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you soldiers go to war? Paper.
Yeah.
How do you move the military? Paper. How do you get food across town? Paper. So all in the paper.
It's funny. You think it's so easy or so complicated, but
it isn't.
It starts to come to, hey, it's just this.
It's very simple. How did you move the questions of all these people that you're helping? How did you move these questions? Paper.
Yeah. It's insane. That is insane. Ugh. All right. So, what does the government shutdown mean for anybody, for the people? Nothing.
Haven't a clue.
Okay.
I don't play in fiction.
What are taxes, and are we obligated to pay them?
If you protest taxes, you will go to jail as a tax protester. It is illegal. My suggestion on taxes is you pay the taxes and turn around and sue them under Title 42, 1986, stop and correcting the wrongs for the fraudulent parsing, syntax, grammar to take money from you.
Got it. So we're coming to a place here that we can let the system coerce us in any way, as long as we can come back with Title 42 and correct the wrong. To some degree.
Well,
this isn't a get out of jail free card.
To allow to coerce is really not what I don't think is what you're asking, because that means Coercion is pushing somebody into doing something that they don't want to do,
Well, at my work,
which is also called rape.
right. Well, let's say this whole Obamacare thing, being forced to buy insurance for your vehicle, being forced,
Buying insurance for your vehicle is a governmental necessity because of the liability and damages that can occur through negligence of a person.
Okay. So what we do is we go full circle. We don't go against the system. We live in the system. We just run parallel.
You run parallel with the system.
Okay.
Remember, you can only be taken to court for an act of neglect causing damage. It's the only reason you can be taken to court.
Act of neglect causing damage. Then what are speeding tickets? What are
a speeding ticket is the performance outside of a standard that is served to maintain the public safety.
If I don't consent to that standard, how does that?
You have no choice.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
If you're driving, if there's a school right
Well, if I'm
here,
doing 70 and a 65.
not relevant. If you're talking about absolutes, it's not relevant.
Okay.
Think of it in a different way. Say that you have kids going to that school right there.
Right.
Cops are issuing fraudulent parts A, syntax, grammar tickets all day long.
Yeah.
But you have a neighbor that you know that starts driving by that school with your kid that walks across that street every day at 3 o'clock, and he's doing 90 miles an hour down the road. If the cops don't arrest him and save his life, the people will kill him. Public safety rules.
Public safety rules. Wow. Okay.
If you're in an airplane and for some reason, somehow, one of you got the Black Plague and they discovered it on the airplane, that airplane will never land. I promise you. They'll shoot it out of the sky. Public safety first.
Public safety rules. So all of this no victim, no crime stuff, it can all go away.
I don't know what that is.
So that's one of the main arguments in the Constitution or in the Freeman groups is that if there's no victim, there's no crime. Rah rah rah. Right? They get all bent out of shape. Yeah, I could drive my privately owned vehicle that I paid for with my own money.
But it isn't privately owned. That's what people don't get.
Yeah.
You don't own your cars. State does.
Yeah.
You're driving on the asphalt out there. That asphalt is a vessel in dry dock, just like anything else. And that vessel out there was paid for by the fictional world. And if you're going to use that vessel road out there, you're going to put your blue chip stamp in that fiction, I promise.
Okay. Yeah, you got to ante up.
That's right. But remember, I understand the concept of victimless crime. I get that.
Right.
What you're saying, that there has to be a damaged party. But there are certain scenarios we're not going to wait to get a damaged party in government before we stop somebody.
Right.
Which would be the example of driving 100 miles an hour in front of school.
Right.
Nobody's going to let it fly. If you got some guy that's doing a meth lab in the back of his house, that's a public safety. Not only is it public safety because the guy's dealing drugs, but because those houses blow up. They're not certified.
Right.
They don't have the proper equipment, a legitimate purpose. It can't happen. I understand the point of that there needs to be somebody that was a damaged party. I get that. But with some scenarios, like school children, we are not going to wait. Nobody's going to wait to have their child run over.
Right.
They're just not.
Okay, so before we came and slaughtered the Indians to get this country, there was no public safety rules. Right?
I don't know about that, but I can give you an answer as to what occurred in that area. What I mean by that is when they sent the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria over to this continent, you have to pay attention to what they had and what they didn't have. They sent them over here without a military. They sent them over here without money.
Right.
Okay. What happened was, so now you have England essentially coming over here and landing on a sovereign country.
Yeah.
The Puritans They didn't kill each other right away. What happened is when the first Indian sold the first land to whoever the Englishman was or whoever the settler was, what they did is they used the barter system. There's something called wampum. Wampum was a string of beads put together, and that's what they used for money. That's lawful barter, lawful in any country in the world. The moment the English person here and the Indian sold him land, it created two sovereigns on the same land. And when they created two sovereigns on the same land, then England could call in the military and kill the Indians. That's it.
How is that at all legal, or how is that all? I mean,
I'm
how
telling you it is, because a sovereign can go after a sovereign, a fiction after a fiction, but a fiction can't go after a sovereign. Look at the Spanish. The Spanish were here the same time the English were, right?
So,
but they were called conquistadors.
So you and David you're not sovereign. What are you?
No, David's sovereign.
Okay,
yeah.
so you are too.
I don't know how that would sovereign is part of the corporation, I guess, but
okay.
But I don't know how that plays out.
How do you become sovereign? Do you know?
You have to have a seat at the UN, which I believe costs $1 million a year.
All right, I'm not going to be putting that on my credit card.
You can't touch the issue of sovereign. You
Okay.
can't. Anybody that touches
So
the
there
issue of
is
sovereign's
no
gonna go to jail.
human being on planet Earth, or
You have sovereign
normal
people,
person.
not sovereign. You have sovereign country with people in it,
Yeah.
but not sovereign person.
see what I'm doing is I'm trying to go through in my head all the arguments that, sovereign, the word sovereign, no national citizen, like you said before, citizen. What does that mean? That means,
What you want to be is a vassal, vassally, or claimant.
vassal, vassally, or claimant. Okay. What does this claim of life, what does it give me?
It is the first document that you will have that claims you as a live life rather than a document.
How does that play a role when I go and show up to court?
It plays a role in that you then have the capacity from that initiating document to state claims. Everybody goes into court is filing against this, filing against that, is filing a claim. They're doing an adverb verb because they don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
They're doing adverb verb, which means they can't make claims. You cannot make a claim until you are considered a live life. You have to have that document in place before you can make a claim, because only live people can make claims.
Okay, so what I'm saying is once I become a live or living person, I can take this to court and I say, okay, dead people make no claims. Dead people tell no tales. You're making a claim
like I
against me,
said,
that's false.
you're still trying to go back.
I'm just using that as an example, but it helps my brain work.
What it is you stay out of their courts. If you're going to make a claim, you're never going to go to their court and make a claim. You're going to make a claim in our court.
In York, what is your court? Or where, or how, or...
It's the document contract postal station court.
Okay. Now I'm trying to tie
Document contract federal postal station court venue.
Okay, so how do these two things tie together? Your court and their court.
Fact and fiction can never meet.
Fact and fiction can never meet. So then how does one clear their name in this court if they are this person?
That's a trick question, because if you're saying that you have a name in fiction, you honor fiction.
If I'm saying that I have a name in fiction, I have to honor fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
okay.
stuck.
This is what I'm trying to say. Superior Court of California. Okay. That conjures in your mind a condition of state of a location in California that's a court, right?
Right.
However, it isn't. Adjective, adverb, verb. Show me the verb California. Does this paper say California? No. Does this paper have a name on it? No. Names are nouns. They're using adverb verbs.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean anything. What I'm saying is if you give value to the negative, you make the negative a positive and suffer the consequence.
So then after let's say I go to court and I pay them. Now
Turn around and sue them with the paperwork that took the money. That's what I'm telling you.
Beautiful. Okay. So there is no get out of jail free card. There's no fighting the system. There is no
There's only correcting the system.
Right. There's no rebellion. There's no revolution. Adam Kokesh, get your shit straight. There's none of this. You have to run parallel with the fiction.
You have to be civil.
Right.
If you start yelling while you're in court, that means you're of an unsound mind and body, and they will call you a belligerent.
Yep.
If you're a belligerent, look up the word belligerent. It means a person at war. Where are you standing? You're standing in a military martial law tribunal. They can kill you.
Oh. Really?
Really?
So that's why
You're not even there to begin with.
That's why cops are getting away with all the killings lately. Think about this last 2 years.
Okay.
The Sandy Hook, the Aurora Theater, the Boston bombing, the cops killing guys, and dogs, and cops are going on, rampages in the last 5 years. If we look at just, history and time.
And let me counter you with this.
Okay.
Of anybody that's ever been killed by an officer, the people that you're talking about, whatever, has anybody stepped up with paperwork in correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, stating their claim for their death of their loved ones?
No.
Then it never happened.
That's insane. So what is a cop?
Safety inspector.
Okay. A cop is a safety inspector employed by state, government, private.
Some are private.
Okay.
Yeah.
What gives them authority? Just because it's just a job. I have a security badge. I have authority over certain people. If she hired me.
Do you?
Well, if she hired me to protect this place, I can escort people out, right?
No, I'm not gonna hire you.
She wants to bring them in.
Yes.
Yes.
But I'm saying if somebody was loud and belligerent, I would be the guy that escorts them out. That means I have authority over that person.
No.
Lord. I'm gonna
She's
give you
gonna
a
take
hot
it.
one.
Thank you so much.
She takes care of us.
Yes.
Okay.
But
if
see,
you
the
sign a
people
job
believe.
application. Well,
Yeah.
well, so what? There's a difference between believing and knowing.
Yes, but if they're believing it, that makes it somewhat true. I mean, okay. So it doesn't make it true in the correct sense. But if that guy believes that I can baton him or beat him if he doesn't leave, then the truth is he believes I have authority over him. Same way with us and police officers.
They have a right for safety. They don't have a right for fraudulent parsing, syntax, grammar. They don't have a right to hurt.
But they do.
Are you guys not hungry?
Yes, we're hungry. We're just recording. This is a very.
Is it recording my voice too?
Yes. I'll edit it.
We'll take pictures.
Tamara had chicken on fire with drama.
You want anything to eat?
You want some?
Yeah, give me whatever you feel like.
Well, I don't know what you're about.
Sorry.
No worries.
How about you?
This is good to me.
Come on, man. You know
Is
what
enough?
it is. Yes, you do.
I'll take a Coke. Please.
He'll have the yaki udon. Which one?
Okay.
So the idea is to correct the system. The idea is to educate the officers so they know what they're doing. So they know what their position is.
Alright guys, just checking to make sure it's still running. I know sometimes these cards, they cut off after a certain amount of time. Okay, so the fact that I've taken a test and I've now I receive a badge. I've been through the physical, I've been through the mental. What I'm doing is I'm proving to the world that I'm educated enough to provide public
That you have the
safety.
credentials to do so. Yes.
Okay. Have you ever met a cop?
Sure.
Okay. Do you really believe that they have the credentials to provide public safety?
Some do, some don't.
Okay. I agree with that statement.
I've had some officers that were very, very, very wonderful people, and once I had an opportunity to talk to them and show them where I was coming from and what's wrong in the system, I had one call me after he did all his research on me. I had one call me up on the phone, and he told me, "I'm not going to bother you anymore. I get what you're doing." He says, "I just wanted to thank you. If there were more people like you on this planet, they'd need less people like me."
It's an honor
And that's
system,
what he
that's
told
why. Okay. I just had a question. I'm going to try to pull it back up in the files. Oh,
Thank you.
man.
We're not here to take over anything. We're here to correct. That's it.
So we're here to correct.
Correct and educate.
Okay. Hopefully it'll come back to me. I think it was good. Oh, this was a good one. I just found this. What is the Spiritual Emancipation Proclamation Act?
An adjective pronoun.
It doesn't exist.
It's right.
Damn. All right, so we can cancel anything that. Okay, now we're
anything
getting,
that you rely upon, yes.
Okay, so anything that I have not made as a contract is. Who cares?
Declaration of Independence is a pronoun, adverb, verb. Constitution of the United States. The Constitution, you can do 3, 4, 1, 3,
Right.
1, 8, 4.
Right. Okay, we'll get to the math part later on how to do this. Question, I remember it. Now, when you go into court, the first thing the judge puts on is a video. The video says, "Hi, I'm Judge. I'm here to read you your constitutional rights." And the judge says, "I'm here to uphold the Constitution." Okay? And, they make you believe that they're working with you and for you.
Okay.
Okay? Now, in the fiction system, like you said, you can't fight fiction with fact because they're two separate things. You have to run fiction with fiction. So, if the judge and the Constitution, okay, they're both claiming that they're real, and because it's fiction, but the judge is using that fiction. Can somebody use that fiction to their advantage as well?
Never.
Okay, so the fact that my Second Amendment rights say that I can hold the right to bear arms means nothing.
The right to bear arms means you have the right to sleeveless shirts.
Did you get that? The right to wear sleeveless shirts. It doesn't mean anything about guns.
If you stop the recording, I will download information, but I will not make it
Public?
public information.
I will stop.